Heyo, duckies and dice fiends, welcome in. It is Tuesday, and that means it is time for the Table Talk Show. I am Kay. I am one of your co-hosts. I am here with my bestie David, who is back in the host seat. We are still celebrating that, even though this is week number 3. David, who the heck is you, and what the heck is we doing here?
Hi, I am someone who will never put pickled beets on anything, let alone a salad. It's okay if you, it's kind of not okay, but no one's perfect. We'll look past you putting pickled beets onto things, but not me.
David's trying to shame me for my food preferences, and it will not work.
Look, I said there's mostly nothing wrong with it.
I am Southern
it's sort of okay.
and of a Russian heritage. So, yes, beets are literally in my blood.
Yes, but you know how we say that the British eat like the bombs are still falling on London? They eat beans out of a can on a piece of bread. They don't even toast it half the time.
Do not diss beans on toast. We will all die. Beans on toast is comfort poverty food. Do not go there. We will all die.
As someone who grew up on comfort poverty food, my entire culture, both cultures I come from, is full on poverty food. The British,
hey Laria,
again, eat like the bombs are still falling on London in World War II.
Hey Jason. Wait, where did it go? Pickled beets sounds like a lo-fi stream for people who like vinegar.
That's fair.
I love pickled foods, y'all. We went to a salad bar. Kids in Texas, we had a lot of salad bars. We went to a salad bar, and they had pickled beets and pickled okra, and I ate so much of both that I literally pickled my tongue and couldn't taste anything for 2 days.
The only other pickled thing where I'm like, listen, don't do this, is fucking okra. And look, I understand that it is not just tradition, but part of my cultural heritage to put okra in a gumbo. Oh God, I almost said a bad word. Y'all need to stop. You need to stop. Just stop. And I know that it is unlikely that there are any Creole or Cajun people in chat. And I don't want you to go find the Creole and Cajun people in your life and tell them to stop putting okra in their gumbo, but they do need to stop.
I put okra in some of my Mexican food. I love okra. I love it deep fried. I love it pickled. Black beans and chicken and okra on a corn tortilla.
But my point about, here's why the British were catching strays. Just because it's in your bloodline doesn't mean you gotta eat it. As I told Kay in Green Room before the stream started, beets deserve to live where they were born, in the ground.
Live in my belly because they're delicious.
But okay, Lurking Writer says I put garlic in most of my meals. Once in a dessert. There was/is a restaurant in Los Angeles called the Stinking Rose.
Oh, it's
where
so
there's
good.
Garlic in everything, including their garlic ice cream. And the garlic ice cream is legitimately good.
I was already hungry before we started streaming, y'all. My
tummy
tummy
now
is
we're just talking about delicious beets.
Beets and garlic and okra and all of these things that I love to put in my face.
But I am David. Don't feed me your beets. Give them to Kay. And this is the chaotic, wholesome Tuesday table talk show of alliteration, where every week we talk about tabletop stuff. How to be a better person, how to be a better GM, how to be a better player, how to not put beets in your food because it doesn't belong in your food, all with a focus on intersectionality and inclusivity so that everybody can have a good time.
What you got against borscht? It's so good.
Borscht is one of those foods where I'm not sure I have had it. Hi,
Mm.
Rex.
Hey, Rex. David is slandering some of my favorite foods, live and on air.
Yep. Yep.
Look at this.
And again,
I don't like that particular kind of food doesn't mean, it means more of it for other people to enjoy it. Exactly. Yes, inclusivity unless you're a beat. No one should eat beets.
I mean,
Those
maybe,
headphones were expensive.
maybe the beets like being eaten. Had you considered that?
We got the beat. We got the beat. We got the beat.
Given the number of people that are into vor, I would not put it past a vegetable be like, eat me, human.
We are
Eat me, daddy.
already deep into chaos, and we have only just gone live. So welcome. Hi, y'all. I'm Kay. I'm the other host here. You can find me every Tuesday doing this. You can find me Thursday for a bonus edition, a bonus episode of A Sterling Garden, a Star Wars 5e adventure, because our final boss fight went 6.5 hours, and we didn't have the time, energy, or brain power to roleplay out the end of the story. So we're going live. Someone just dropped something very heavy directly over my head, and it was a little bit terrifying. So we're going live this coming Thursday to wrap that up. I believe that Weird Wild's War is not on this week. I'm also getting my COVID booster on Friday, so I will probably be dead if they try and do that anyway. You meant to stay awake for about 5 of those 6 hours. Yeah, it was a long fight. Chaos here, 10 minutes in? What? Yeah. Stinking Rose is so good. I want garlic ice cream now. Yeah, you, Lurking Rider, you are a trooper. You're a beast, and we love and appreciate you. And y'all, I got to meet Lurking Rider while I was in the UK. He came out of his way to meet me all the way in Cardiff, and it was a treat. So thank you again. So, actually getting around to the topic now that we are 10 minutes live. A little less. We spent some time on the commercials and the starting soon. We're talking today about tropes and archetypes and characters and plot lines that we love playing in TTRPGs and those we don't really like playing against, and how you can take the things that are a little bit tired and make them more interesting, how you can make the experience of playing a less favorite archetype fun for everyone else playing, and just interesting twists on the established things. I can't eat squid ink pasta because it makes me die.
Right.
Which was very fun. My mom and I went on vacation. We took the train down the south down the California coast and stopped at just all sorts of little towns. And one of them was a little adorable coastal fishing town where the restaurant was all fresh caught stuff, and it all had shellfish in it, except it had a pasta. The pasta had squid ink in it.
No.
That was fun.
I think I might need a new pixel check. Oh no, it's working again.
Yeah, someone has. I'm gonna since David has given me crap. Someone has too many tabs open.
Yep.
And it's using what 3 gigs worth of RAM.
Yep.
I cannot eat squid ink. Squid ink makes me die because squid have a bone, which means they are a shellfish which has a bone, which means they produce iodine, and there's iodine even in their ink. So if I eat it, I die. Yeah, no, the LA location being closed is very sad. Yeah, road trip to San Francisco. It's cold up there. I don't like it.
Very sad.
I like not dying. I really enjoy breathing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of people use squid ink to do things like sauces and pasta sauces and such.
Oh, and for our Europeans in chat, the drive from LA to San Francisco, which I have made regularly, is like driving from southern England to Scotland.
Like northern Scotland.
Yeah. I think it's actually like farther. But yeah, it's like it's about that far.
Yeah. When I landed in the UK and was like talking to my UK friends, I'm like, okay, so I need you to understand the distance I've traveled to see you all. Because again, if you haven't lived in a big place, you don't understand how big things are. I was like, this was an 11-hour flight. I spent 6 of those 11 hours over North America.
Mm-hmm. And like the Atlantic Ocean, big, okay? Like big. Like you look at it on a globe, not big enough, big. Like 3 months on a boat, big.
There is a lot of USA to cross. I mean, a lot. I spent a lot of it over Canada, but you know, same idea. So favorite tropes to play, or favorite archetypes.
My most hated trope, my most hated mechanic in any TTRPG is traps. And I say this as someone who is actively building traps into the next module he is writing. But I hate them.
My favorite, one of the earlier streams that we ran was a one shot of, hey Zykram, welcome on in. Was a one shot that was an adaptation of a module that Liam O'Brien wrote and ran on Critical Role. And I kind of did my version of it. And it's like 4 rogues and a sorcerer breaking into the house of the most powerful magic user in the city. And David played the sorcerer, who was the inside guy, who did not want to be there, who was done with all of this, who was just a whiny little thing.
Yeah, he was such a whiny brat.
And went through a whole bunch of traps getting in. Then he got spooked. He got scared, turns around, runs away. And I'm like, just roll me a D20, Dave. I just want to see. Not one. I'm like, yeah, you got hit by that trap. And it did like 3 damage. And David's like, he's doing the Peter from Family Guy. Ooh. That's honestly one of my favorite tabletop memories. Like, that just lives there in my brain of like, for someone who doesn't like traps, I sure had fun with that one.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing about traps. It's not that traps by themselves are bad. It's that in almost every case, they are used incorrectly. Like, if you are breaking into a rich person's house that has armed security on patrol 24 hours a day because they have stupidly valuable stuff in their house, and they're also like a wizard, and you know, they're also like, you know, the head of a criminal organization, then yeah, there are going to be traps in that place. Breaking into an ancient dungeon, like you go down and you got your like Indiana Jones hat on, and you got like your whip and your leather jacket, you're gonna expect a trap. But like, I've seen GMs put traps in places that they should not be. And also, to be clear, while you could construe a mimic as a trap, I consider mimics a separate thing.
Fair.
One, because mimics are always fun.
Yes.
Like never not fun. Like,
the only thing funnier than a mimic is a mini mimic that looks like a book.
Right. At one point, we're running a game, and I'm doing production, and I've got the map on my screen, and the party walks into a treasure room, and Kay has circled the mimic in the room, and so they're going like chest to chest, shelf to shelf, And they look at fucking everything in that room except for the fucking mimic. And I'm just sitting there trying to keep a straight face because, again, like I'm in the Zoom call with like the whole party, and so I can't let them know that I know that some shit's about to go down. Matt, you know what you did. But just the every time they reached for it and they almost touched it, I was like, and then they wouldn't, and I'm like, damn it. Someone
Right?
touched the fucking,
People
and
just,
then they
like-
leave the fucking room without touching the fucking thing. Anyway, but like I've seen a trap on like in a back alley in a city where there was like no criminal activity around. It wasn't like the entranceway to like a secret thieves hideout or anything. It was just there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you
Or
what you are
like,
not doing, Matt, which is 3d12 plus 2d6 of damage.
it will woof, fucking woof.
Aaron M. Evans, author of the Brimstone Angels, created and has played a book mimic in a streamed game that is now in Idle Champions. The book mimic is adorable. Book mimics are one of my favorite things. Just a little tiny mimic. It looks like a book. And ooh, are people not ready for a book to be a mimic? Treasure chest? Oh yeah, they're suspicious AF.
Right. But the problem with traps is one, people put them in places they don't belong. Two, people don't understand the fundamental purpose of traps. The fundamental purpose of traps is to whittle away resources. Like the reason that like the original D&D and D&D second edition called for like 3 encounters a day or 5 encounters a day or something like that. And that the monsters in the monstrous manual were balanced accordingly is because it wasn't about killing the characters. It was about stripping away their resources. Like everybody thinks a wizard is overpowered until that third fireball comes out. And then it's a guy with a stick. And so like people will put fully lethal traps in the first room of a dungeon. And it's like, you're playing 3.5. You spent 6 business days putting together this fucking character, and then they walk in a room, boom, dead. Like, come on now. Come on, meow.
David, your captions are just hysterical.
Struggling.
Because you have too many tabs, my dude.
Yeah, I will fix that by next week. But Zypher makes a good point. There's a reason why the only way to open a door is not the normal way. Must try 50 other methods. And that's the other problem with traps.
Mm-hmm.
Is if you start throwing traps willy-nilly everywhere, then your party will go to an inn to rest for the night. And they'll be like, I rolled perception on the innkeeper to see if he's a trap.
Mm-hmm.
Like I roll perception on my bed in my inn that someone slept in earlier today to see if that's a trap. And it's not just the one person doing it, everybody in a party doing it. So you're running like 5 perception checks every 30 seconds just so that they could go to sleep at night.
What's the story of the guy who he had a barbarian who kicked every door open? And the GM's like, why? Finally, he's like, why are you doing this? He's like, 'cause it might be a mimic. And the GM's like, got annoyed. Some shit went down, kicked him out of the party. The very next door.
No. Ooh-wee.
Have evidence of a trap. Scorch marks, scratch marks, dead body.
Right.
Yeah, like, again, that one shot that hey, DC, welcome in. Oxenventure's treasure chest with a warning sign written in Infernal. Only one party member can read Infernal. Sign says, warning, contains spiders, do not open, human rogue. So what's the sign say, Prue? Prudence, tiefling warlock. It's got treasures in it. Opens chest, immediately swarmed by spiders. Prudence. like, I hope Claroscura is treating you well, DC. I saw you got good raids earlier, so I'm glad. I hope the stream went well. Sorry I missed it. Work. Yeah, like, you also have to, like, if you have traps everywhere, because David and I have run that heist game, the entire house is, everything is a trap. You know there's traps everywhere. But you are given in-game reason to check things because you are looking for certain objects. You were looking for information, items, things to get back. And also, you know, it's kind of what we did in Godplane, where it's like, everything is terrible, but there are some good things in there as well. Because if everything sucks, no one's going to touch anything. And if they don't touch the mimic...
Yeah, the mimic don't eat.
And then you're
listen,
a GM
the mimic's
going...
gotta eat.
The mimic, you're the GM going, but my little guy, I had a little guy right here for you. I need to...
It's like, look, you have to touch the haunted doll if you want to get out of this room. And it's like,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, we're just going to stay here because I'm not touching the haunted doll.
Yeah. No, you know what? The life in this room, better than whatever the haunted doll is going to bring me.
Right.
Just how it is. Just how it is.
Also, apparently they lost the doll that the whole Annabelle movie series is based off of. Like, there's an actual haunted doll. And they took it on tour, which in the year of our Lord 2025, why would you do this? Like, the
Hey, Jason,
gold cast eyeball in the skull of a princess, leave it there.
I sent you that article.
Yep.
Where it was like, they find this still shiny ancient gold ring just sitting somewhere very open and obvious. It has a skull decoration on the ring. Like, they assume so that you remember, like, you ponder more. And, like, someone, like, picked it up and they're showing photos of it. And we're like, my absolute dude, leave it there. It is the year of our Lord 2025. Nothing fucking good is gonna happen.
Right. Or like, there was a lady that went hiking somewhere in the South, or it was Appalachian, went somewhere spooky, found a hoodoo altar, picked up a thing off of the hoodoo altar and brought it home. And again, I'm not a superstitious person. Like, I don't necessarily like believe in all that stuff. I'm a firm believer of, if ghosts were real, then like no white family in the South would be able to live there. However, I also am not stupid enough to tempt fate.
Yeah.
Like, I cross myself when I go into a church because I don't want to burst into flames. And if I see any sort of like deep religious thing to ward off evil spirits, or for something that I just don't even know what it is, then I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to touch it. I'm definitely not going to bring it home.
Yeah. Do not mess with things that I do not mess with things that I do not understand. And I know bait, random gold rings, when I see them, right? When you see something that is obviously face shit, leave it alone.
It's right. Like, you're in a park.
Lurking Rider says, I live in England. The whole country is haunted. Very true. David, hey, Candace, welcome in. David, I'm gonna read something Lurking Rider said, and I'm gonna buckle up because I know where this is gonna go. Lurking Rider says, minor gripe, the lack of sensible dungeon layouts.
There's a whole theory of module building that is the 5-room dungeon, and like the heist game that Kay runs, you could argue that's a dungeon of sorts. However, the number of games where you walk into a dungeon, like the number of video games where you walk into a dungeon and there are fires burning, it's like, no one has been here in 2,000 years. Why are the braziers lit? In addition to that, the number of times where it's like, because everybody knows that in Egypt there are pyramids, and pyramids, underneath the pyramids is where the pharaohs laid their head. You don't need to be an Egyptologist to know that. You don't need to be able to read hieroglyphics. But, and everybody knows that that one, cursed, two, there were traps in a lot of them. But the number of people who have zero architectural presence when it comes to dungeons, where they make this whole big, like, labyrinthine thing. Actually, I'm reminded of a game that we played where we were a bunch of orcs and did you play? It was a gnome, right? You played a gnome.
Oh yeah. I played a halfling.
Ah, yeah. I knew it was a small.
Yeah.
Where it's just like nothing about this layout makes sense. Like, if you were trying to confuse people, it still wouldn't make sense.
I'm gonna say something incredibly triggering, and we all know it's accurate, and we don't want to admit it, but we all know it, and we turn a blind eye because we don't want to deal with this. But I'm going to speak the harsh truth. The interior of houses in Stardew Valley.
Yeah, make no sense. Zero sense. Ooh-wee. Like, you walk into the mayor's house and the fridge is right there. It's
just
like,
the
what?
Shapes that things are, and stuff goes off that there's like big empty.
And look,
Right.
we love Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley is not a perfect game. And one of the many little gripes, besides, Haley, is and what's the name of the dude who's the writer on the beach? I don't remember his not Elliot. Yeah, oh yeah, it is Elliot.
Mm-hmm. Big empty spot is where they hide the bodies. Or maybe they're just leaving room for Krobus. And I respect that.
But yeah, like, there's so many ways to do traps wrong that you might as well just not put them in your game. And if you are going to put them in a game, make sure that you have some sort of indicator that trappening is happening.
Trappening is happening.
And that it makes sense for him to be there. Because, like, when you go into a temple and you go sit into a pew, and then a bear trap snaps on your ass, it's like, why the fuck was this there? What purpose? Who would do this?
I played a game where the rest of the party, I was joining, it was my first session. I was joining the game. The rest of the party had gone through a trap laid in place, and we're at the main boss chamber, whatever. And myself and another character were going through behind, so we were seeing all the traps that they had triggered or gotten around, and like could see. And so I get to this one point, and the player knew this trap that it was a long, narrow hallway that had a bunch of holes through it. And Kay, the player, knew that those shot arrows, right? Or bolts. But the party that went through before us, one of them was a water elemental and put a gush of water through there to trigger the trap with the movement. And so my character, who was the themboest thembo that has ever themboed, sees holes in the wall, sees water on the ground, and is like, we just can't get wet.
Wow.
So got to do a whole, like, does a long jump and still get shot. Which was just one of my favorite, like... Yeah, no, the player knows better, but the character wouldn't, so let's have some fun with this. Discord, for some reason, just decided to turn on desktop notifications. So I'm trying to talk, and I just keep saying bloop, 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 and I'm like, nope, nope, nope. Don't yuck people's yums. You need a bear trap to get closer to your gods / a state of ecstasy, do you? Make it known that trappening is happening. Again, I love that. If the dungeon is made by one of the regular ancestrals, maybe it should make sense. The trappening. Is that going to be the name of my birthday module? The trappening.
No.
We don't yuck people's yums, except pickled beets.
and okra that is not deep fried.
Look, I likes what I likes, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So far we've gotten traps and dungeons that don't make sense. There is a video game out there, and it was very popular for a while because it's multiplayer and you can mess with each other. But you play a bunch of little gobbo maids, and you literally have to clean up the dungeon and reset the traps between waves of adventurers.
That's the other thing. Is a dungeon will be armed to the teeth with traps. Not one dead body, not one sprung trap. All of them just ready to go waiting for you. And it's not a new dungeon. Like, grave robbers are a thing. In fact, I want to run a campaign where it's just like a bunch of like grave robbing, I almost said do-gooders.
Dungeon
but
meshy
no
style
do-gooders.
resets. Right. Yeah, like, and again, if you come across the long dead skeleton in the dungeon and in its hand or sitting like where its stomach used to be and it has now fallen to the floor is some perfectly preserved, still shiny ring. Yes, that shit is magical. It's also cursed.
Right. It's like, maybe don't. Especially in real life. If you have a haunted doll, don't move it. Like, in the Conjuring films, which is part of the Annabelle film line, the whole Conjuring universe. The two people who are the frauds in the movie, they have a room full of cursed objects. Where it's just like, we put it in here, we put it down, we lock the door. No one goes in here. Kids, this room doesn't exist.
Back it away.
And you know what? That's just the smartest thing that white people have done in a horror movie possibly ever.
Yes. Why is the doll missing now? Yeah.
Right.
But yes, so we've done traps and we've done dungeon layouts and dungeons being pristine and traps never triggered and no skeletons. I think I'm just gonna do a quick nod to Brendan Lee Mulligan, which is he did a shout out. There's a whole thing about what is the most powerful magic, chronomancy. Like, chronomancy is the most powerful magic. It's not friendship, it's not love. Because how fucking unfair is that to every party that's come before your party that they just didn't have love and friendship and that's why they couldn't beat this boss / dungeon.
Right.
Characters in horror movies live in a world that has never known horror stories. Yeah,
Like, if y'all haven't seen Sinners, go see Sinners. Small spoiler. But one of the best moments in the film is when the literal voodoo priestess is looking at a vampire and being like, use a haint. Use some sort of foolishness from beyond the grave. So why don't you just admit it? And he's like, no, I'm not. Those things don't exist. It's like, come on now. And I was just like, yes, finally. And the other thing is, when she's like, that there is no good, So here's what we're gonna do. Everybody's gonna like we'll go sharpen sticks. We'll go eat some garlic. We're gonna do all the vampire stuff. Like the number of movies where somebody's got to discover that vampires are weak to a stake to the chest by accident. Where somebody's got to eat like a garlic burrito and then breathe on Dracula before people figure out that they don't like garlic. It's like, no, maybe in the real world, we've been talking about this for hundreds of years.
Yeah. Common sense of breaking super. Yeah, that was a small spoiler.
I'm not going to go on a whole Sinners rant because we could do an entire episode, and I don't think Kay has seen it. But it is the blackest black movie I've seen in years, and I have a lot to say about it. I could do an entire talk show episode about this movie and still have more to talk about. But yes, like, even if somebody gave you the broad strokes of what happens in the movie, it wouldn't change your enjoyment of the film because so much of the meat of the movie is subtext and cultural context and going along for the ride and really killer performances by everyone.
Wait, does this mean Hank Hill had a supernatural sense? He kept saying, "The boy ate rat."
Yeah.
Dang it, Bobby. Yes. And also, I'm also down. Ooh. We got.
Yeah,
we
because
got
it has
stuff
hit
being
streaming.
plotted.
It hit streaming, I think, either today or yesterday. So that may be it.
Maybe we can do if I can make it behave, maybe we can stream it in the Discord too. Do a little watch along. But okay, yeah. I also just want to say, King of the Hill.
Oh.
Yeah. Some really fucking tragic and incorrectly reported news has come out around the voice actor for John Redcorn, and that show is so incredibly near and dear and special to my heart because I grew up in Denton, Texas, and that show was a documentary. I don't care that it's a cartoon. It was a documentary. And oh god, One Shot, King of the Hill, Savage Worlds. Fighting the I'd have to rewatch a bunch of it so I could get my Peggy accent correct again. I don't know if my voice goes that high anymore, but I did a way too good Peggy for a very long time. It was disturbing. Well, as we know, when it comes to archetypes, I have two favorites. And those are cinnamon buns who've never had a thought in their head and edge monarchs. Just disaster queers that are everyone's problem. And both can be, we've done episodes on these, so I don't want to go too deep into them. But as I'm dealing with a player who is very insular and who is like, if you want to play a character who's very standoffish, you have to give players and party members reasons to be interested in them. And as a person who loves playing standoffish edgelords, edge monarchs, you very much have to make sure that there's a reason for other people to care about them. And you have to make that very, very clear. Going into another room and sorting through your bag is not an invitation for a conversation. Believe it or not. Himbo or actually competent buffoon. So here's the thing. I am a firm believer that every himbo should have the neurodivergent, hyper-focused superpower of knowledge. At least one of them. Like, Kronk and his spinach puffs. Kronk being it. Like, Kronk is the himbo icon, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I love it.
When he said to what's her name, he's like, what do you mean you don't speak squirrels? Like he was the only time he was offended in that movie. He was like, "Excuse
Squeak,
me."
squeakum, squeak, squeaker. I love Kronk. Kronk is I where is Cusco? I know I have Cusco. I rearranged my background the tiniest bit and now I can't find anything. Oh, Cusco. I have Cusco only because I can't have Kronk. I don't have a Kronk. The Cusco will do.
Like, and also, Kronk is the ultimate henchman. Like, world class, graduate level professor of henching. It's like him, Jerome from Purple Rain. If you've seen Purple Rain and you remember Purple Rain because it came out quite some time ago, that you know what I mean.
And
But like,
and Kenneth Purcell from 30 Rock.
oh, listen, the again another master of henching. When
Can we talk
now,
about how much of a personal attack that character was for me? Down to the name?
Yeah. Now I have not seen all of 30 Rock, but I've seen some episodes.
Kenneth is
And
amazing.
when Tracy Morgan is going for the whole episode, he's like, "Man, I really want a pizza. I really want a pizza." And then Kenneth shows up and he's holding a box of pizza. And he's like, "Oh man, but I want waffles." And then he opens up the pizza box and it's full of waffles. I'm like, this man right here.
That I don't drink alcohol. It's of the devil. This ain't alcohol. It's Mountain Man juice.
Also, how that man is like 400 years old in an eldritch horror. K feels very, very attacked.
So attacked. I'll also say, like we were talking about, like eldritch horrors, don't mess. I was telling David, we encountered this NPC who we'd encountered before, and he was funny. My GM, I didn't tell you this, David. This is my favorite. He's like, "Okay, you're all gonna have to forgive me for the phrase I'm gonna say in order to get into the accent of this character. I am Puss. Puss in Boots. I am Lucas."
Wow.
We have this whole conversation with this guy who clearly knows too much, to the point of like, knows that Burton and their just literally the night before agreed they were dating girlfriend, to the fact that Burton has a tattoo on their ass, to knowing like all of this stuff. He just knew. He said something super cryptic, but like that made it very clear that like, well, this guy knows something. And it was that wonderful moment of like, finally something clicks in Burton. The little spacey thing clicks, and they're like, "How old are you?" And the NPC smiles back and says, "Yes." And it's like, "We're leaving now. We're goodbye. That great. This is what you're delightful. Thank you for your hospitality. Good fucking bye. We're done. We're out. We shouldn't have stayed this long." But yes, again, those are some of my favorite shows. I love Chaos Gremlins. I don't know if any of y'all have noticed. I sometimes bring a little bit of chaos to the party, just a little bit. But again, you have to, be it a pure Chaos Gremlin, be it an Edge Monarch, be it a standoffish character, be it a disaster queer, be it a himbo thimbo who wants to push all the buttons. You have to balance things out, right? Because there are times when the party is trying to plan and no one can make a decision, and you finally just go, that big red button, while everyone else is talking, I'm push it. And you are the GM's hero, and you are the party's hero because you moved the plot along. But if all you're ever doing is sneaking away, if all you're ever doing is stealing from orphans, if all you're ever doing is being a problem,
if all you're ever doing is stealing from a fellow party member who is an orphan, like, and that's the thing. It's like, wow, one of your favorite archetypes is the Edge Monarch. Also, one of the most hated character tropes is the Edgelord, because the number of one-shots or like short campaigns where the first hour and a half, so like the first like half an hour is like just people like getting their bearings, which is fine. But then the next hour is trying to convince the one party member to go on the actual fucking adventure.
oh my God. Like, again, when I brought Soul into the Emergency Power podcast, I'm like, they might threaten to leave the party. They will not leave the party. I promise you. Yeah. What if I steal more orphans for the orphan party member? That is
Now
some
you're not alone.
Cato logic, my friend. And I
Yes,
love it.
absolutely.
That is something honestly disturbingly similar. Definitely happened in one of our campaigns.
Yep. But yeah, like there are too many instances, and that I've also, and thankfully it only happened once. But I watched a table. It was 3 players in the GM, and all 3 of them played edgy loner types. And so it's like, this is a fine character to play if you play it properly. But not only were they not playing it properly, but all of them were the same.
Yeah.
Like they were all sitting at a table at a bar, not talking to each other, with the quest giver trying to convince them to go on the quest. And all 3 of them were like, I don't know, I don't want to do it. And it's like, dude, why are you here, buddy?
Like, I would love to get the right group of people. Candace is definitely one of them. And do like an Oops All Edge Monarchs game.
Yeah.
Where we lean into it and we ham it up of like all of us going like, I don't want, and like all trying to out Edge Monarch the other, and all like accidentally triggering the things and progressing the quest without obviously wanting to, without meaning to, but obviously as players we know what we're doing. I was in a one-shot charity game, and one of the players was a bit, I don't know what the DM wants because that is fun for, I don't want to do what the DM wants. It's fun to me for, oh my goodness, yeah. I was in one of the first one-shots I was in, and I've told this story before, but like we're at the pub, we're at the bar, we're getting ready to get our mission. We get our mission. It's a big one. This was Skyhold Tower, David. We're in the thing. There's a tower about to hit Neverwinter. It's going to destroy the entire city. It's going to be a crater. NPC's like, cool, all of y'all get up there and save the day.
Get there, save everyone.
And this one player is like, well, my character is a secret agent, and I don't think she'd want to reveal herself like that to go and do this.
Look, if 007 would crawl into that tower and yell at whatever mirror is up there and turn off whatever magical orb is making this thing about to crash, then your secret agent ass could do.
But yes, having ways and reasons. Oh, so again, if you're going to play one of those characters and if you know you're going to do shady shit, work with the other players because you can genuinely have fun with it. I was in a game that sadly it will never air. But I was playing a sneaky, shady rogue. Shocking, I know. Who was very prone to lifting things. And one of the other characters was this cleric who was she was a cleric of Desna, and she was just so over the top, and she had all the colorful clothing, butterfly wing, everything, like was just a pretty princess cleric. And was like She has her hair done in these very intricate, fancy braids, and she just has butterfly clips everywhere. There's too many, right? And this character is just straight up like, it's too many. And I reached out to her and I'm like, would you be cool with my character every time, every day, once a day, takes one thing off her outfit? Not because they want to steal it, they want to sell it. Hey, Lamia, welcome in. They take one thing because it's too much, and they are legitimately trying to help her. You could have so much fun with stuff like that if you just work with the other players.
I remember literally the first D&D game I ever played. One of the players played a Kender. And for people who don't know, Kenders view all things as communal property. And so they steal without thinking that they're stealing. Except the player didn't treat it like, oh, I take this thing, and now it's for everybody. And all my stuff is for everybody. It was like, my stuff is mine, and your stuff is mine.
Is for me.
And when everybody goes to sleep, I'm rummaging through your shit and taking whatever I want. And he had built his character so that his stealth rolls were super high. So he was like just stealing stuff. And I do not remember the plot of that original game at all. Actually, I do remember a really epic fight we had. But what I do remember the most is 3 separate times breaking the Kender out of prison. Like, we spent more time fighting town guards and prison guards than we did fighting monsters in dungeons. Because literally we would go into a town and the alcoholic wizard would go to a bar.
Oh, God.
And the Kender would go and find whoever had anything worth stealing. And he always stole from like the mayor or like the biggest merchant in town. Like, he didn't like mug an orphan. Like, he was always somebody super important. So the second anything went missing, the entire town guard has grabbed this little like 3-foot nothing character and thrown him into prison. And it's like, it's really sad when not only have you pissed off all of your fellow players because you've stolen from literally everyone, but you then make those same players that you've pissed off spend their entire time saving your ass.
Yeah. No. Like, that's the thing. After a certain point, you're like, you're on your own, buddy. Yeah, Lamia says, that player is toxic. Absolutely. Rex said that he used prestidigitation to make the dwarf smell like a cooked chicken when he slept because he was mean to my character's friend. Look. Lurking Rider. Side note, butterflies are basically the Feywild's idea of what an insect should be. Small blood-sucking creature that looks fabulous. Yes. Accurate.
Fair.
There are more beautiful moths than there are beautiful butterflies. I will not be defending this argument, says Lurking Rider. The lack of care for others' time and creativity in the process is rough. Yeah, like, again, when I joined EPP and I was bringing in Soul, I'm like, this is a problematic character, right? Like, this is a character who could be a problem. I understand all the concerns. No one will have to ever beg this character to stay with the party. First off, that will never happen. They might say, I'm leaving after this. I have guardrails where it will not happen, right? No, you as a player are never going to have to deal with that or beg me to stay. And yes, they are going to do shady stuff, but also, they steal from someone, and then somehow whatever they stole ends up in the hands of the orphan. It's funny, when you do that, people are much more chill with your stealing. Like, oh, you just spent all this time scamming money out of a little old lady. Oh, it turns out she's the widow of a mob boss who took money from everyone on this space station. Suddenly people are chill with my scamming a little old lady.
Right.
It's very interesting how that works. There are ways to go around to do things where people will be on your side. Steal candy from a baby and keep walking because it's our candy, but the players and high value. Yeah, like you gotta be smart about these things.
A friend of mine played a character in one of the home games I was running that had pissed off someone at the Sealy Court. Like, part of their backstory was there was a powerful Fae something that was just after him. And it was cool, and it worked out because, one, they weren't in the process of actively pissing off the Sealy Court. Mm-hmm. Like, you didn't show up to the Feywild, make your way to the Sealy Court, and then, like, shit in the Queen's bed.
Yeah. It's almost like communication at the table could prevent and solve a lot of problems.
Right. And then also, it didn't make it into a central theme of everything, because it's a way, in addition to, like, not respecting other players' agency, not respecting other players' time, it's a way to make yourself the main character.
Yeah.
It's a way to steal attention from other people.
Yeah.
And if you're a good DM, you make sure that there are, like, story arcs for each of your players and big spotlight moments for you shoot the arrow at the monk, okay?
Yeah,
like
let your monk deflect
you let that go.
Let him do it. Like, quite literally, we played a Christmas one shot with someone who was playing a monk and was like, can I throw my spear and have him reflect it so I can just use deflect missile? I've never gotten to use deflect missile as a monk. And I'm like, my dude, I will shoot a missile at you. Don't have to.
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm so happy for you to have that. Communication, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems. Wait, scratch that. That's alcohol. Messed up the references. I mean, scientifically speaking, maybe it's going to smack me through the internet, but scientifically speaking, alcohol is a solution.
It's true.
I had a player complain about the Raven Queen while traveling in the Shadowfell. Whew. Party was invited there as her guest to save travel time. Yeah, like Kinley is an accidental flirt. Kinley ends up in relationships and doesn't really realize that that's happened. Kay, the player, understands what's happening and will set it up for my and hopefully other players' enjoyment. But, like, I made it not the main thing. Like, we were playing a post-nights game where we were all sent to a mostly uncharted continent to set up the postal service. And Kenley was sent there because they had accidentally started relationships with every high-ranking member of the post-nights council, left them brokenhearted because they didn't realize they were flirting with them. And so they all collectively went, fuck that person in particular, you go to the uncharted place.
Right.
Kenley had no idea. And it became such an obvious theme, and the party was so not figuring it out that the GM was literally like, messaged me at one point, it's like, okay, you're in the Feywild. Can I say that you kind of accidentally did that to an Archfey? And I'm like, oh yeah, if that's fun? Like, I'm not gonna go, bring me an Archfey. I wish to accidentally romance them and take this up a whole, but oh no, if that's good for the story, yeah, that'll be fun.
Never underestimate
delayed consequences for that. Yes.
Never underestimate your party's willingness to do something for the bit.
Yeah. Look, I will do a lot for the bit. If you want someone who will do incredible things for the bit brilliantly, improv and RPGs, Matt. Oh my God, the Seeds and Nuts convention.
Oh man. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the D&D Pride game that we did last year. He slayed me. He slayed me so hard. I was not prepared for what I was up to. Chat, as we're rambling, do you have any archetypes or tropes that you especially like or dislike, or one that you disliked until someone did something interesting with it, did an interesting twist on it? Neither rain nor snow nor gloom of night may stay these messengers from their duty. Terry Pratchett. Yes.
So I have a character trope that is unpopular, but I absolutely love. And that is the character of Team Mom. Often a cleric, but just the person who herds the cats.
Mm-hmm.
The person that always has a healing pot on them or keeps all their spell slots for healing spells. And as someone who has played a team mom and who's had team moms in their games, it's very easy for it to become like monotonous and one note and boring, because it's like the Rick and Morty meme. It's like, what is my purpose? You cast healing word. It's like, oh no. But, and this goes back to a discussion I've had many times, and something that I've realized about myself over the years is people assume that support characters, especially healers, are bottoms, and they are not. Because I played a priest in World of Warcraft. In Overwatch, I played almost exclusively support. And in most games, I'm the person who brings like the healing packs and heal people. Because when someone gets hurt, when someone's drawing their last breath, when someone's rolling death saves, yeah. And you've got 5 points and lay on hands left, or you got one level 1 spell slot. And then they look at you and they're like, help me. And then you look down at them and you're like, beg. Like, and you get to bop people who...
Tanks are the bottoms.
Yes. And you get to bop people who do stupid things. So if somebody just Leroy Jenkins into a room, you wait until they're dead, and then you go in and you go, what have we learned? Heal. It's like, and what do you say when someone does something nice for you? Like, the level of shade that a team mom can throw on characters who are either outright idiots or who are playing great idiots. Hilarious.
Yes. I mean, Roxy was a team mom who was also an idiot, so.
Right.
Lurking Rider proposes the travel dad, always armed with backpack of holding and alchemy jug of sunscreen.
Wearing cargo shorts and Birkenstocks.
Lamia says, I hated the mushy couple and did it with Sin in a Cthulhu one-shot. I did it with a pair of bougie hunters. I love disaster couples. I got to do this with Candace briefly in a one-shot. We did not get nearly enough time to do it. What I desperately long to play are two people who have a past, who dated, who were probably engaged, and they broke it off years ago, and they find themselves in the same party on the same adventure together. And it becomes it's that like consensually everyone's on board, toxic. Are they going to kill each other or are they going to get back together? Right? I want to play that so badly. I just found myself, I love toxic relationships in TTRPGs. I don't know why. Burton, I, for the longest time, shipped them with the guy who was basically his entire job and purpose in life is to kill magic users, which Burton is. And I'm like, they're narrative foils. They're so, this would be really fun. And then they stumbled into the most wholesome relationship with the sweetest little church lady with big titties. Good job, Bert.
And let me tell you, hot. Like, well done, Bert. Like, you stumbled into this on accident, but goddamn it, well done.
Yeah, they didn't know what they were doing. Like, straight up, the Renala's player was like, Burton made the first move asking her to dance. They didn't know what they were doing.
Right.
But they made
You're
the
like,
first
it'd be
move.
fun to dance. Let's dance.
Yeah, Kay, I'm fairly sure you love disaster characters in most flavors. Look, yes, this is true. I feel like I have to. Ace, Aero, live alone, very far from family. I'm like, I have to have my life together. So I guess I get to be a disaster in TTRPGs. And then I went into the Star Wars game thinking I'm going to play the messiest disaster queer that ever happened. And then everyone else was so messy that I'm like, I guess I'm the moral backbone here. I guess I'm the one that has to have it together. Sophie and Nate in the original Leverage. Nick and Nora from The Thin Man. Everfull flask of mead to deal with all of the shenanigans, TM, until the spell of calm breaks and we're turning this quest around. Very good. Yeah, there was a post too that was like, hey, everyone who plays, and at this point I was playing Roxy regularly, who is just the best girl, no intelligence, like negative intelligence modifier, but doing her best and so sweet. And there was someone posted, there was a meme going around of like, hey people who play himbos, shimbos, thembos with not a thought in their head, how's that crushing responsibility of life treating you?
Yeah. Also, the willingness for every party to look at the himbo, say the stupidest thing, and did everybody go, yep, that's what we're doing. What I tell you, Roxy was like, hey, this points to this town that's like 2 days travel away in completely the opposite direction. Yeah, 4 days away travel in the complete opposite direction of where the plot is. Hey, David, you're going to have to build an entire new city and a whole bunch of new plot lines just to get us back on track. How does that sound, everybody? Everybody, does that sound good? Everybody in the party was like, this is a great idea. I was like, and luckily Kay like pulled it back. It was like, no, we're not actually going to do this. God damn it. But
look, here's the thing.
That I felt. It was like being run down by a train.
I love all those people. I was in that game. I love them. But it was one of those days where we had to make a decision or a plan and no one was paying attention. Like everyone was ADHD, just understandably, but I'm like, I'm just going to throw out a red herring. This is obviously wrong. And I'm going to have the low intelligence, low wisdom, had neither character say, I think it means this. And everyone went, yeah, sure, let's go. And David's like, and everyone was just like, yeah. And we went down this huge rabbit hole. And we finally get to a point where David's like, wait, hold on, back up. How did we get here?
Right.
Because David was also not fully paying attention to our conversation.
Yep.
And I finally had to go, so here's the thing. I fucked around and you almost found out.
Yep.
I need an adult. You are the adult. Wait, then where the heck did that happen? Exactly. That was Bella. That was basically Bella. At dawn, we plan. Yeah. Like, yeah.
But I love a good team mom because that means that I, as a DM, can throw even more obnoxious shit at the players if I know that someone will save them. Like in the home game with Roxy, our rogue went down to death saving throws so many times that I developed a whole new plot line and invented a new god specifically for them. Like God looked at them and was like, I see what you're doing here.
I think I can work with that.
I see you. But if Roxy was not there to lay on hands, like if we had a party where it was just like all paladins, all of them using all of their slots for smite, like not one healing spell amongst any of them, then it would be a completely different thing.
I think in that entire campaign, and that was like 3 years, I think I used smite 3 times.
Yep. So you'll have opportunities to use it again. I'm thinking after Labyrinth. Yeah. I should be back to ass and chair time, adequate ass and chair time by then.
Very excited for Labyrinth. And should be going this year with David, Alicia, and a painting pirate.
Yeah. That's gonna be a great time.
Yeah, what other art, like tropes, archetypes, things that we love and or hate or didn't like and then found a fun twist on?
Okay, so like I've talked about villains a lot. Obviously, I'm a fan of villains.
No.
But with the exception of your protagonist is 5 teenagers with fancy rings and a big blue guy they call up on occasion. If your villain is evil just because, get out of here. It's a waste of time.
Yeah.
Like there needs to be a kick the dog moment for your villain, but like if your villain takes their number 1 henchman and kills them because they fucked up,
yeah,
or they just like, you know, genocide for no reason. Like part of what made the Captain Planet villains so hilarious is they're like at one point, I think it's like Dr. Blight has like a barrel of toxic waste and is dumping it into a river. And they're like, why are you doing this? And she's like, because I don't want them to have clean water. It's like, okay, that's silly. Like it's incredibly silly, hilarious. And then like, you know, Captain Planet like punches her or something. He shows up and does it. But again, outside of Captain Planet, if your villain is just evil just because, like, and sure, like the tragic backstory of like, oh, my parents were mean to me, and then like, you know, someone killed my wife, like that's overdone. But at least there's some reasonable motivation. Like thinking, feeling beings don't do what they do for zero reason. They don't do it just because.
Yeah. I like the whatever morality / Grand Admiral Thrawn / Lord Venturi / pretty much whatever character Jason Isaacs is playing kind of character. Yeah, all my campaigns villains have solid motivations, except for the Mind Flayers. They're just doing Mind Flayer stuff. Yeah, like that is like instinct, right?
Yeah, like I'd subscribe that to like nature as villain.
Mm-hmm.
Like in a lot of similarities with like a disaster movie, mm-hmm, where it's like the villain is the tidal wave, the villain is the tornado.
Yeah.
Like Mind Flayers are a force of nature,
yeah,
where they're like, you're gonna be one of us. The end.
Yeah. Mind Flayers are just hangry squid people, and the hanger never ends. Look, I am hungry, and I'm not quite hangry. But if David tries to rant at me after the call, it might move there real quick.
2 hours later, there's a knock on my door. Jay is standing there eating a rib. It's like, I'm not hungry anymore, but I'm still pissed.
You kept me from my food. Yeah, like Magneto was right is such an iconic phrase because it's like yeah, he didn't do the good thing, but he also wasn't wrong. We don't like how he did it, but someone also needed to do something. And at least this is, y'all, I'm gonna do it for just a minute, and I apologize. It's the reason everyone is done with the Democratic Party right now. It's like, at least he did something.
Yep. He's like, this problem doesn't exist, but I'm going to fix it for you anyway. And everybody went, oh my God, someone's going to fix a problem. Ugh.
So rare for a villain to have no motivation / origin, and I want to hurt people is a real small piece of that pie. I do thirst for knowledge, but I can be civil about it.
That's the other thing, is when they say mad scientists, but really they're mad engineers. It's like, yes, you need science to build a giant death ray in the side of a volcano, but there are no experiments happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not furthering scientific research by doing that. You're just building a giant death ray, which means you're a mad engineer, not a mad scientist.
I just want sharks with freaking lasers on their heads.
Right.
Is that so much to ask?
There's this one panel in a Spider-Man comic. And I forget the name of the villain.
Oh, it's the dinosaur guy.
Right. It's a dude who turns into like a big old pterodactyl. At one point, Spider-Man is like, why are you using all of your scientific genius and the ability to like restructure people's DNA, which could be used to cure cancer, to end disease, to do all these things. Why are you turning people into dinosaurs? And he looks directly at Spider-Man. He's like, I really like dinosaurs. I'm like, you know what?
I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs. Yes. I have not seen X-Men 97 yet. More is the crime. It physically hurts me. I need to fix this. I have opinions about X-Men 97, and one of them is this. They did the Magneto was right storyline right. Painfully so. I need to see it so badly. I also, again, I've only seen like the trailer, and the trailer, I did not come up with this. I saw it on the Twits or the Blue Sky or whenever it was out, and it was like, this is perfect, right? It was like the plot, from what I can tell from the trailer, the plot of X-Men 97 is Charles refused to give me the divorce, so I'm making that everyone's problem.
You're right. Right. Also, I'm really mad that more people don't recognize. Okay, so for one, if you are a fan of Scott Summers, you are either a cop or you like cops. Like, let's just jot that down. Two, I feel bad for Scott because Cyclops is one of the many victims of Professor Xavier, because the real villain isn't Magneto, it's Professor X. And too many people don't understand that, like, Xavier is a monster. The things that he has done to people's brains, and he invented a machine that connects to his head so that he can find you anywhere on Earth to then do those insidious things to your brain. Like, excuse me?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, like, yeah, Magneto, I'd wear a helmet too to keep Charles out of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Because zoinks. Fucking zoinks.
So,
And
this is
I'm rewatching the original X-Men so that I can watch X-Men 97. And there's an episode where I think it's Sabretooth, but Charles is about to go into somebody's head. He's like, is it okay if I look into your head? I'm like, this is bad writing. Xavier would never ask anyone, if it's okay for him to meddle into their memories and dig into their brain and shit. He's just gonna fucking go in there. Anyway, continue.
This is a slight aside, except it is one of my favorite things. And my friend Kato gave it to me, and I wore this as my pajama top while I was at the UK. And my GM was like, "Where did you get it?" My GM, who does not take food photos, who does not take selfies, etc., I got a selfie of him wearing his version of this shirt because it is the best shirt that has ever existed.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
True perfection.
Also, they're
Hank
a
McCoy.
throuple.
Boy.
Like Scott, Logan, Gene, they're a throuple, and it's a cuck relationship, but they're poly, and they won't admit it. And Logan is a bottom. Like Logan is the bottomest bottom out of all of the X-Men. And that's even counting Jubilee. Like, because everyone bullies this man. Gambit bullies him. Nightcrawler absolutely ridicules this man, and he loves it. Like, come on now. Oh yeah. Ooh yeah. But yeah, the second, third, and fourth seasons of X-Men the animated series is just like Jean, and I'm like, listen, redheads are hot, but y'all got to give Jean a break, especially with Storm right there. Like, come on now. Ooh, okay. Lurking Rider says Logan is the Worf of the X-Men, and I might have to catch a flight. Like, I understand with the way politics are right now, I might not be able to get back into the country, especially when I commit a crime in the UK. However, I'd say Logan is like the season 1 and 2 of Next Generation War. But Worf has so much growth over the Next Generation and then later Deep Space Nine that I look. He's a far more developed character. He's a far more rounded individual than Logan ever is. Because you watch the animated series and like every other, so like half of the episodes are about Wolverine. Every other Wolverine episode is about some woman he left behind.
Yeah.
Like some woman that he was desperately in love with. If it's like Lady Deathstrike or the woman who was part of the Weapon X program, the indigenous lady, and then there was like one other
Moriko.
like right. And it's just like, why is it Gene that you're focused on, my guy? Other than y'all rent a hotel room just so he could sit in the cuck chair. Like, come on.
Yeah, Rex says DS9 Worf is great. Look, anything DS9 is great. Full stop. Fight me. Laria says Rogue remains one of my biggest crushes. Rogue and Phoenix, Jean Grey. Look, and I will go on forever about how no one has done the Jean Grey Dark Phoenix saga correctly, because everyone makes it focus on, oh, Jean doing all these bad things and losing control and being sad makes both Logan and Scott unhappy. These poor guys. These two poor little buddies. The woman in their life is suffering, so look how sad they are.
Right.
Does this count as a second rant I set off? Pretty much, yes. But look, we are here for rants. We got some Star Trek in. It's very important that we get some Star Trek in every now and again. I'm getting glared at by a little spotty someone. Oh. I acknowledged his existence and he got very happy. Aching for that story to be done right for once.
She gets whole ass possessed by a demon, and not just a demon, but like the demonest demon in the history of demoning. One of the most powerful beings in the universe. And everybody's like, well, Logan feels real bad about it. And Cyclops is sad. Like you could see the tears coming from under his ruby sunglasses. It's just like, come on, man. Who gives a shit about Scott? Okay. Like even Professor X did love this man.
Really didn't. That's why he has so many. Well, one of the many reasons he has so many daddy issues.
Right. Like I'm waiting for the Cyclops villain turn. I'm waiting for him to be like, you know what? Fuck all.
I mean, he had so many daddy issues that he developed mommy issues and started fucking Emma Frost.
Right. And that's the other thing. Hundreds of issues dedicated to Scott and Jean's relationship and crowding out Logan and sticking him in the cuck chair. And then the second anything happens to Jean, he's like, oh, Emma Frost, and falls into her? Like, are you kidding?
He needed someone to tell him he's a good boy.
Right. Scott, you deserve nothing good in this life. Yes, throw the whole man away.
Yes. Takes Cyclops is already in his villain phase, but he's so milquetoast that no one noticed. Scott's not had a lot of love affection and has been saddled with responsibility. Dude is fated to get in toxic relationships. Yeah. Just, it's okay. Back when we still liked Game of Thrones, we have to go back to that mindset, because that nothing has vanished out of the popular culture, the zeitgeist, faster.
Oh man. Yeah.
Back when we still liked Game of Thrones, and back before we knew exactly how lame Jon Snow was going to be. I'm watching season 1, and they're like, you take this oath until my watch has ended. And I'm like, so Jon Snow is going to go up north, have some shit happen, die, come back, and do some shit. And like, look, I was prepared for it, right? I am here for the underdog, right? I am here for the sad little bastard finally is able to do some stuff. Like, I'm here for it. This is my... And everyone's like, oh, Jon Snow is so late. I'm like, no. Jon Snow is going to be moved by the plot until he dies. He is going to be resurrected, free of those vows, full of knowledge and ability and information and power, and then he is going to finally move the fucking plot. You know what didn't happen? Do you know what did not happen? Do you know what he did not do that I am still salty about to this day? I didn't care if he went hero or villain. I just needed him to move the fucking plot, not be moved by it. X-Bit is a good tangent/mirror to hold up to TTRPGs because there's so many tropes to dig your teeth into. There really is. Scott, you aren't the leader of this team. I'm like 16 and these people hate us and are trying to kill us. Thanks for the Costco package of trauma. Exactly. All right. We are at time.
Mm-hmm.
I have to put food in my face so David can judge me for eating pickled beets.
That's an important part of my recovery.
It is. So we are going to wrap up here. If you have final thoughts or tropes that you would like to shout out, now is the time. As always, thank you all so much for joining us. This was a delightful chat. We went someplace. Jon Stern really did never learn anything. He still knows nothing. I am so sad. Thank you all so much. David, who the heck is you and what the heck is we doing here?
I am pleased that at the very least they made the fat, awkward nerd in Game of Thrones a badass who fell for a woman even though he was supposed to be celibate and was the first person to see and or kill a White Walker. But I'm David, and this has been and will be the Chaotic Wholesome Tuesday Table Talk Show, where every week we talk about TTRPG stuff, how to be a better GM, how to not put big pickled beets on your salad, how to be a better person, all with a focus on intersectionality and inclusivity so that everybody can have a good time.
Look, Ygritte taught him a number of things.
Mm-hmm. Taught him how to go dance. Yep.
Yeah. I'm suddenly seeing the parallels between Burton and Renala.
Ooh.
Didn't. All right. So
Burton has the capacity to learn.
He really does. They are much better about that. Yes, there's all Sams in every fantasy setting are wonderful. We love Sams. Okay. I've been the other person here doing this. Find me here every Tuesday. Find me Thursday over at Metalark Productions for the bonus final episode of A Sterling Garden, a Star Wars 5e adventure where we will be, finishing up the campaign, doing our final character outros, and y'all, Bella has some opinions about how things went down. So that's going to be interesting. I don't know that the rest of the crew is prepared for that. I do not believe we are doing Weird Wild's War this Friday. Even if they are, I will probably not make it because I am getting my COVID shot. And we'll probably be in bed with massive body aches and fevers. But I get to play Stardew Valley, and that's all that matters. It's not my addiction right now. I have not completely set aside Blueprints because my brain has said, you will play Stardew.
Look, and also sometimes you gotta take a break from Blueprints because if
it has
you play
not
that game
enraged
too long,
me the way it has enraged you.
Ooh.
David, the first time David made it to the antechamber, except hadn't opened any doors, I heard about it for...
I was so mad. I was so mad.
I was so mad.
Like, I went to sleep, woke up, and was still mad about it.
I also need you all to know, it has started. David has taken a note. One singular note. Buried in our chat history.
Right. The reason Kay knows that I took one note is because I wrote it in our chat. And they're like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, this is a note for Blueprint.
Like, y'all. So here's the thing. David's like, how far are you on Blueprints? And I'm like, that's a very difficult question to answer because it's a roguelike. You know, it's locked behind RNG. Beating the game is not the finish. It's not the end of things. I know this, right? Credits roll and you still have, I think an estimate was another 100 hours to go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've figured out a lot of the stuff that's going on with the mom. And he's like, I haven't really paid attention to that. And I'm like, it's the juicy part.
I do know some
be
stuff
careful with spoilers.
that's going on. But like there's this cool note about getting rejected from the publisher with the book. And then like there are a bunch of like little details that are all adding up to why things happened with the lady, and like you find a passport. Like there's stuff. However, comma, I want what uncle or great uncle or whoever the dude is, whatever pile of money he's got for me, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm looking for the deed to the estate so I can rip out the room changing structure he put in.
Conversations from earlier. How far into Blueprints are you? Day 92, about 90 hours. Oh, so pretty early on then.
Right.
I have a friend who got to the antechamber on day 13. Like, got it open. Opened the antechamber and entered on day 13 on her first playthrough.
Also, I was Googling some stuff about Blueprints, and apparently, and one of the articles was, can you beat it on day one? Apparently, you can beat the game on day one, and a speedrunner did it in 22 minutes. Now,
that person.
The idea that you've not only played Blueprints enough, whereby you've beaten the game and then beaten it again, but you've played it so much that you figured out how to speedrun it. How are you going to have 500 hours in this game? This game been out like 2 months. Like, sleep, my guy. Have a nap. Like, have a snack. Pop-Tarts are cheap. Well, I mean, they're not cheap, but like...
They're definitely not cheap.
Eat a snack, my guy. Something besides play this game.
All right. And on that note, we are going to wrap up this stream. Thank you, as always, for hanging out with us. You have all been wonderful. I love you. Again, I will see you on Thursday over at Metal Arc Productions. I'm again going to try and get back into the habit of streaming, so there might be another Stardew Valley stream here or there. Definitely not Wednesday, definitely not Thursday, definitely not Friday. We'll see what the weekend brings. I think we're going to go over and check out Sword and Key, where they are doing Gate Night and playing Baldur's Gate 3. As always, y'all, thank you. Be kind to yourself, be excellent to others, and we will see you next time.